Well, how's it going, guys? How are we doing? We doing good? We keeping it together? It's been a rough few weeks, hasn't it been? If you're a Raider fan, if you bleed the silver and black, but it's okay. This is a safe space. This is a safe space to talk out our problems, our discussions, our predictions. We're not jumping off the bandwagon. That's not what we do here. We stick with our team, no matter how frustrating, to put it as nicely as possible. It can be at times. Um, if you're a new viewer, throw some comments in there. I'll get them up on the screen shortly, and you know we'll talk about it. I'll just give my quick thoughts for these two games real fast. And I just want to address this up top. Dominic first of all says yes. Been waiting to hear from you, bro. The reason I've been missing these last few weeks concurrently is because I'm currently a sophomore at Penn State. I just had finals. I finished them all, so now I have a month off. So these are going to be very consistent over the last three or so weeks. So yeah, look forward to more stuff coming down the pipeline. But let's just talk about these two games real fast. We'll talk about the Paul Gunther firing, and then you guys, like I said, throw those comments in sporadically, and we'll get them up on the screen. The Colts game was tough. It was tough because it felt like one of those games where, we're trading haymakers and it's like the first team to punt loses. And that happened to be us. I don't know if we were actually the first team to punt. But it's just, it's unfortunate. The interception off of Rashard's hands, the other interception was like one of the most insane catches in the history of the NFL. The defense is just not good. There's not really much to say about that game. The Colts are legit. I mean, part of the reason I thought we were going to go 10-6 is because, number one, I thought the defense was going to get better. That didn't happen. And number two, because I didn't know that some of these teams were going to be as good as they were. I didn't know that Justin Herbert was going to be this good. I didn't know that the Colts were going to be this good. I didn't know that the Dolphins were going to be this good. I thought the Bills were going to be good, but not this good. But the Colts game was tough, and then they got Paul Gunther fired. So let's talk about Paul Gunther. Am I happy that he got fired? I'm not happy because I never want to see people get fired. That's just a human part of me. I understand that sometimes we don't think of it as a job. We think of it as a game that we watch. And when people get fired or released or traded, we celebrate these things. And although right now it could be the best thing for the team, I wasn't happy to see it happen because, the man's got a family. He's got a lot of money, so he'll be okay, I'm sure. But it's an unfortunate thing that happens sometimes. It's a business. And sometimes you got to let people go. Now, you do have the right to celebrate it in the fact that you may think our defense is going to get better. And then for the people who are doing that, I don't know what you guys are expecting. First of all, Rod Marinelli, we brought in. We got rid of DeForest Buckner, I was going to say. We got rid of the coach last year. His last name's like Buckner or something like that. And the offensive line has not improved. Or I'm sorry, the defensive line has not improved. And switching coordinators with 4 games to go is not going to make our defense any better. So anyone that expected that to happen, I'm sorry, that's just not the way it works. So sure, it's cool that we fired Paul Gunther, and hopefully we can hire someone that could right the ship defensively, but it's not going to fix the short-term problem of getting into the playoffs. So when we fired him, I didn't really care because it wasn't going to fix how bad the defense was instantaneously. Okay, so we lose to the Colts, and like I said before, keep those comments coming, and I'll throw them up here shortly. We lose to the Colts, and then because again the defense just let us down, and then we play the Chargers, and any Raider fan's biggest nightmare. You see Derek Carr hobble off the field. I'm sorry, I knew right then our season was over as soon as he walked off the field, because as much as Mariota played very well and I was impressed and I was happy for him, it hurt us not to have Carr in the game, because the Chargers defense is not very good. They did not scheme for Mariota, so they weren't expecting the guard against the read option. Mariota made some really good throws. He made some costly throws too. And the biggest problem with Mariota being in the game is when we got to the red zone, he can't make the tight window throws. So it's almost impossible for us to score a touchdown unless he scrambles and jumps over a defender, which is why we couldn't get in the end zone in overtime. When Derek Carr's out on the field in the red zone, Gruden says, make a throw, and he makes a throw, and we score. So as well as he played, I just knew we're not going to win 3 games with Marcus Mariota. He played really well. I'm happy for him. I'd like to keep him as a backup next year. He's signed for 2 years, so that's a good thing. But we lost the game in overtime. Showed a lot of heart. I think the offense is still is great. The offense is still really good. It's in place. But defensively, it's just not there. And Mike Mayock did a good job with some free agents and not so good job with others. And I would argue that Kwiatkowski and Aguilar were big hits for free agency. And I would argue that Littleton so far is a miss. Now, again, we can chalk this up to Paul Guenther, but we're really doing that with no evidence other than the fact that the defense is just bad. But we don't know if that's because of Paul Guenther or because of the personnel. We just don't know. And I really hope that next year we show some vast improvements, or we might have to reconstruct this whole defense. Because as much as I love Jonathan Abram, he blows a lot of coverages. Trayvon Mullen's a really good player, but he had a bad game against the Chargers. Max Crosby's not getting to the quarterback. Nobody is. And I don't know how much of that is scheme, how much of that is personnel, but we'll find out next year. I'd still like to go 9-7. I think we can beat the Dolphins with Mariota. I think we can beat the Broncos with Mariota. I just don't know if that's going to happen now. So here's where we are. Yeah. So I'm going to throw these comments up, and we'll talk about it. Adrian Gaming, what's up, man? Hope we can get to at least 9-7. My prediction was 10-6, so we could be a game off. Same with me. I had us going 10-6 as well. Pretty crazy to think that 10-6 might not even get you into the playoffs at this point. But yeah, I still want to win these 2 games. I'm not about like losing games for draft position. It's ridiculous. Carr's my what's going on, Nate? Carr's my quarterback. Sorry, Mario. I hope you start on a different team next year. Yeah, we could just address this up top. There's no quarterback controversy. Mariota did a lot of really, really good things against a team with a not so good defense, against a team that was not prepared to play him. I don't want to take anything away from Marcus. He deserves to be a starting quarterback in this league. But there are just some throws that, that were a little off, and those are completions with Carr. So, and we could just talk about Derek Carr right now for a second. I'm happy that Derek Carr is the type of guy to never do this. But if he somehow wanted to demand a trade and leave leave Vegas, I don't really know how many people could blame him. Because he's quickly becoming the Matthew Stafford of the AFC. And what I mean by that is Matthew Stafford has been in the Lions for so many years, and they've done absolutely nothing to put him in a position to win. And it's almost becoming that with Derek Carr. And I almost feel bad. I almost feel bad for Derek Carr at this point, because he's literally put his body on the line to get us back to the playoffs. He's done everything he possibly can. And just the idea that he's never had a top 15 defense. I mean, if you watch the Chiefs and the Saints yesterday, I don't know how it feels to be down 14 to the Chiefs and to have your defense get a timely turnover to put you in a position to score a touchdown to get back in the game. If we're down 14 against the Chiefs in the fourth quarter, the game is over. The Saints lost that game by 3 points with a Hall of Fame quarterback. I really feel bad for Carr, and there's an article that suggested we should trade him, work 1 year with Mariota, and then draft a young quarterback under Mariota, maybe a Zach Wilson this year. And it wasn't suggesting that Carr played bad. It was suggesting that Carr deserves better. And if you're gonna try to tell me that if we trade him, it'll be because he deserves better, I can't argue with that. I'm sorry, but I can't. I do not ever want to trade Carr. I want him to retire a Raider. But if he gets traded to the Washington football team and I see him win a division there, I'll be happy for him. I don't know. I don't know what to do. Jorge, pain. So much pain. It is. It's a lot of pain. Adrian Carr is our quarterback. I agree. Since the Jets won yesterday against the Rams, the Jaguars have the number 1 pick now. Now the Jags are probably going to get Trevor Lawrence, and Jets fans are upset. I know. It's a crazy world we live in. It's a crazy world we live in with the Jets beating the Rams. Almost beat us. Wasn't that crazy? We can trade Mariota to the Jets for a second-round pick for a defensive player. Not a bad idea. Yeah, maybe. The draft this year for the Raiders should be all defense because the defense sucks. I think every single pick we have should be defense. Every single one. Carr haters on Mariota to start after one game, but the Chargers didn't prepare for any mobile quarterback. Let's see what happens when they play the Finns. Yeah, exactly. Now, listen, I'm not rooting for Mariota to do bad against the Dolphins because I'm a Carr guy. I want Mariota to play the best he could possibly play. But some people just have their opinion of Derek Carr, and it's not going to change. And sometimes we just have to accept that. Carr is having the best year of his career and is fifth in fifth for MVP. And Carr haters just want more. Yeah, listen, like I said, those people. I'm not even I don't even want to have that Carr hater conversation because those people don't have opinions. They just have like a Bible that they read, or that projects that Carr needs to go. Jason, what's up, man? The secondary needs a lot of work, and Carr needs to get healthy. I agree. I don't even think he should play the last 2 games, even if he can. Charlie, what's up, man? Do you think Mariota gets traded in the offseason? I think he's the best insurance policy in football. I don't think he gets traded. I think if anything, this bought him like a package or two that he can get into the game and maybe like when we need like a 3rd and 3, a 4th and 2, why not bring him into the game to scramble and get the first down? I thought they were going to do that initially, but they didn't. Do you think we can go 9-7? My prediction was 10-6. I do think there's a chance. I don't know if it's going to happen. We probably go 8-8, which is a game better than last year. So, Jorge Mullen was off against the Chargers. I agree. We had a good season. Yeah, we beat some really good teams. We lost to some not so good teams. It's a little frustrating. I think we're close, but the defense just needs to get better. We just need to get better. Do you think we should do a read option when it was 3rd and goal before we went to overtime? I don't know. I'm not in the position to make that call. I don't know I can't remember if there was a play where we were in the shotgun and he did hand it off, which means that could have been a read option play, and he decided to hand it off. But yeah, I didn't like the 2 rollouts, but I'm not the offensive coordinator. Marinelli at least improved our D line play. We only allowed 96 rushing yards. Sure, the rushing stats are down, but that's because the passing stats are up, and that's the way I see it, at least. Don't even get me started on the play calling. Yeah, it's not great. Our season has been over when we lost to the Colts. I mean, yeah, it wasn't looking good. It was not looking good. My good friend is a huge Chargers fan, so this one stung. I guess it made up for the last one, though. Yeah, the worst part about it was when Herbert fumbled, and all we had to do was fall on it to win the game. It was. God, that was a really depressing game, and this is going to sound random to a lot of people, but the only saving grace for me that day was that the Mandalorian season 2 finale was that night, and I got to watch it, and it was, if you guys watch The Mandalorian, yikes, it was amazing. Icy Nate says, I say we go 7-9 if Mariota plays. It's possible. Gruden play calling is why we couldn't score. Yeah, it's interesting because we get to the red zone and we cannot get in. He calls such a good game until the 20-yard line. And then he's he doesn't know what to do. It's very strange. Best defensive player for me is Nick Kwiatkowski. What's going on, Germany Raider? I agree with that statement. Littleton will get better. It was just a system change, I think. Well, yeah, I think also. But we both could be wrong. In that case, we are screwed. I think we need some D linemen and free safety in the offseason. I agree. What's up, Daniel? Overhaul the entire defense this time for a 3-4. Absolutely, I agree. Dr. Zion's dog. I thought Mariota played good on Thursday. He did. He played very well. I agree with that. I think getting Raheem Morris 4-3 press man will improve our defense since he disguises zones, but in reality, it's actually press man. It's not a bad idea. Yeah, it's not a bad idea. I think he's going to probably get hired for the Falcons job, in which that case, I think I'd rather Dan Quinn. But, that's just me. MJR, what's going on? My prediction from the beginning, 8-8. I still think 8-8. Well, hey, that's looking good for you. Do the Broncos re-sign Von Miller in the offseason? If not, Raiders can pick him up. He is like Khalil Mack. Well, yeah, that would be great. He's a little up there age-wise, but that would be kind of nice. Our D scheme needs to get better, but our offense looks good most of the time. I agree. Carr does miss throws as well, but when you can't argue that when the game is on the line, there are not many quarterbacks you want with the ball more than Derek Carr. Anytime we needed to go down the field to score a touchdown this season, or any season where he's had the capability and the players to do so, we went down the field and scored. I mean, heck, against the Chiefs, we went down and scored too fast. We were lucky to get an overtime after that interception, and frankly, that was a really bad interception that I didn't see Derek Carr ever making. I'm not saying Mariota's the answer either. I just think it's time to move on from Carr. It's been 7 years. Okay, that's fair. That's totally fair. I understand that. If you think we could flip Carr for a first-round pick, draft Zach Wilson, and move him on, I understand. I totally understand it. I just personally don't think he's a problem. I think it's the defense, but I understand it. Cars like Breeze in 2016, they ended up going 7-9 like us. The defense was bad. I remember that. Look at his record as a starting QB. Yeah, I understand that. I think similarly to wins and losses in baseball for a pitcher, I never really look at the starting record for a quarterback because that lumps into account his rookie season when we were 0-10 and we had, Andre Holmes. That lumps into 2018 season where the roster was deconstructed and it looked like we were going to relocate to London because the roster was so bad. I mean, I understand that his win and losses is not good, but I think with any quarterback in the league, like Peyton Manning, I think you should take Peyton Manning's rookie season away. He led the league in interceptions. That's not the quarterback he is. But again, that's totally fine. That's your opinion. Carr doesn't miss throws. The receivers can't run routes. Again, that could be the case. I think Carr misses throws. Every quarterback misses throws. Mahomes misses throws. It happens. Carr had only one top 20 defense. That was in 2016 with this time. And that was a top 20 defense overall, but it was last in the league in scoring. So there you go. I told you 7-9 at the beginning of the season. Carr is not the problem. Gruden in the defense is the problem. Whoever thinks Carr is the problem doesn't know football, but that D is atrocious. I mean, yeah, I don't want to attack people if they don't think Carr, Carr is the problem. If you think so, that could be the case. I understand that. But I would tend to agree with what you're saying. The defense needs to put a Band-Aid to stop the bleeding. I know, it's bad. I don't want to turn into a team that tries to tank like these other teams. We can continue to improve. There's no reason to tank. That's ridiculous, in my opinion. I agree. Dominique says, has Rodgers and Mahomes had top defenses their whole career? No, they haven't. But here's the thing about and I always caution people by saying this. I never once said that Derek Carr was Rodgers or Mahomes. Derek Carr does not have the God-given ability of Patrick Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers. I just want to make that clear. What is happening in Kansas City with Patrick Mahomes is an anomaly that happens once every 20 years. Peter King has called him the Michael Jordan of football. So if you want to get rid of Carr to look for somebody who can do that, it's going to take another 15 years. And Derek Carr is the best quarterback that the Raiders have ever had in franchise history, and we can win a Super Bowl with him. So I just think it would be really, really, really risky to move off of it, is all I'm saying. I never once said he was Rodgers or Mahomes. Now, if you want to look for that, we can. It just is going to take a while. I love Carr. I just don't think Carr has it. He's good, but not great. It's been 7 years. He's trying to elevate this team, carry us to the playoffs. He's never been able to in 7 years. I understand. I would tend to say it's a team game and that there's only so much that one player can do that is not a perennial MVP candidate. He can win an MVP. So can Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan won an MVP. Matt Ryan cannot carry the Falcons to the playoffs. Neither can Derek Carr. But within the system, we can win multiple Super Bowls with him if the team's around him. I think if Derek Carr was on the 49ers, I think if Derek Carr was on the Washington football team, I think if Derek Carr was on the Chicago Bears, they would be perennial Super Bowl contenders. That's the point I'm making. I think if Patrick Mahomes was on the Raiders, we would have to win every single game like a shootout. Like every single one. And it's possible that we could with Mahomes. But there are times where the Kansas City Chiefs don't even score. So that's where I'm coming from, really. Yeah, and had no chance in the playoff game because he was out for that year. I understand. Yeah, you are not wrong with what you were saying. You are stating literal facts. But sometimes there's more to those facts. And that's the way I feel. Anthony, what's up, man? The D system should change for Miami. Wasn't enough time to change Gunther's system. And that's true. Do you think the Broncos, if not, we can give him a 1-year deal? That's also true. I think they're going to re-sign him, but who knows? This is exactly the reason why we got Mariota. In case Carr gets hurt, we have a good backup. This is not better than him, but it's just as good as him. He is not there to take the starting job. I don't think he's just as good as Carr. I think he sometimes can do things that are better than Carr, like athletically, but I don't think he's just as good as him. We needed to put Booker or Rashard late. Josh was gas. I agree. Trey Lance. I'm not a big Trey Lance guy. Now listen. This is gonna sound completely like I'm bragging. I have a very simple system of evaluating quarterbacks that come into the draft. I watch their throwing motion, and I watch how they stand in the pocket. That's all I do. I didn't care that Josh Allen had a 50% completion percentage because he played for Wyoming. How many Wyoming receivers got drafted? I didn't care that Patrick Mahomes had a losing record. He had a cannon. And when the Chiefs drafted Mahomes, I was visibly upset because I knew he was going to be good. I said that Josh Allen was going to be the best quarterback of his draft class, better than Baker, better than Darnold, better than Lamar, and he is. I'm sorry, he just is. When Ryan Tannehill got traded, I said if he starts for the Titans, they're going to make the playoffs because he was never bad. He was just injured. So I'm not sold on all this to say I'm not sold on Trey Lance or Justin Fields. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be the best in the class. I think Zach Wilson is going to be a close two. Worst quarterbacks than Carr have won a Super Bowl. I agree with that. How is Carr best quarterback in franchise history? He hasn't even been to the playoffs. He's better than Gannon or Plunkett. Like I said, I don't look at wins and losses to evaluate talent. Patrick Mahomes had a losing record. Like who's the best quarterback in college football history? Tim Tebow. So he is better than Plunkett. He is better than Gannon. Gannon had a great defense. He had Charles Woodson and Rod Woodson. He had Tim Brown and Jerry Rice. I mean, this is not. It's not even a competition as to what he's done compared to what he has. But again, this is my opinion. You can think that Gannon and Plunkett were better. That's totally fine. Plunkett also had an all-time great defense. I just, in my opinion, I think he's the best that we've ever had, and he is similar to Matt Stafford is getting squandered. That's all I'm saying. Carr's Raider Nation for life, point blank. I live in Vegas. Carr ain't going nowhere. If not Carr, then who? Losing Carr would set us back. It took him 3 years to get Gruden's system. Yeah, I know. Mario said his Carr team in the press conference. Mariota said he's here to help. Yeah, I agree. I'm not trying to bash Carr. I swear I'm not trying to bash or argue with Raider Nation guys. Just throwing out all my opinions. Yeah, and we're not. Listen, anyone who's mad at you for throwing out opinions, they're totally fine. I know, just as I understand your opinion, that you understand mine. I'm just saying, and I just want to clarify this. I never once said or claimed that Derek Carr is Aaron Rodgers or Brady or Mahomes. I think that people who are doing that, it's a disservice to Carr and to yourself because you're expecting magic every single time he touches the ball. He has flashes of Rodgers. James Jones calls him Baby A-Rod, but at times he'll miss a throw. But all quarterbacks miss throws. If Derek Carr is in a position to where his defense is average, they can force a turnover every now and again, we can go to the Super Bowl. That's all it comes down to. AJ Green is also a free agent. Will the Bengals re-sign him? No, he's gone. He's going to be on a different team. I don't hate you. Relax. I don't hate you. Everything's fine. Why? I don't. This is not Twitter. This is not Twitter. This is not Instagram. Okay, this is not the YouTube comments. This is a space where we can have a conversation and disagree, and we'll be totally fine. So don't worry about that. Also, Allen Robinson wants to trade. Interesting. Didn't know that. Carr is Carr. Absolutely. Carr is not Mahomes. Carr is not Rodgers. And the second that we want to get rid of Carr to look for somebody like that, Gordon might be done with his 10-year contract by the time we sign someone. Should we bring back Michael Crabtree? He's a free agent. No, I was saying that before the season, but Nelson Aguilar is Crabtree 2.0. Our offense is not the problem. We have weapons out the wazoo. I mean, Carr was going to end up with 30 touchdowns this year and 4,500 yards before he got hurt. So the offense is not the problem. I don't care. The only way I see us drafting an offensive player is if someone is egregiously dropping in the draft and he's right there and we're like, dude, we have to. ENT's right there. Like, we have to take him or something, like something crazy like that. You know what I mean? Or ETN, not ENT, excuse me. We have an offense that can win a Super Bowl. The entire offseason needs to be dedicated to defense. I agree, Charlie. That's where I stand on this. That's where I stand on this. So, listen, guys, season's pretty much over. We still have a chance, but it's not a good one. It's like 3% chance or something like that. You guys throw in your last few things here. And then I'm going to head off. But these will be coming more consistently, so don't you worry about that. Who do I want as defensive coordinator? Me personally, I want Wade Phillips. I've seen Wade Phillips thrown around a lot. He's cool. I think I want Dan Quinn. I just want a little bit of energy, and forgive me if I don't relate energy to Wade Phillips. But he's cool. I want Dan Quinn is the guy that I want. Richard Sherman doesn't want to sign back with the Niners. We should get him. I don't hate that. Spend some money on the D this offseason. We'll be in the playoffs next year. All D draft, all D free agency. I agree. We gotta go all in on the defense. Mariota for Stephon Gilmore. What's up, Jorge, George? I don't know. I would like to do that, but I don't think they're going to. Dan Quinn and Raheem Morris. I agree. Thanks for the show. Absolutely, Ricky. I got you. Sherman would make a great Raider. I agree. Any last things you guys want to put in here real fast? If not, I'm going to head off. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been a tough 2 games. Injury didn't help, but we're still Raider fans, and we still like to talk about the Raiders, okay? So I'll be here as long as you guys are here. You guys continue to show up and watch the live streams. I appreciate it so much. As soon as the season's over, and by the season, I mean as soon as our season's over, I'll start throwing up Madden stuff. What was I going to say? I was reading the comments and completely forgot what I was going to say. Oh, if there's any Raider news, of course, I will, I'll talk about it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Oh, look at you guys. Love hearing from you, bro. Go Raiders. Love you. Oh, look at you guys. You guys are so nice to me. Why is that? I don't deserve all that. Or maybe I do. I don't know. But anyway, please be sure to subscribe if you're new. It is free after all, no charge to you. And Anthony, just win, baby. That was good timing. That was really good timing. Good job.